Love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm danked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it.
I came over, I ain't sober, I'm still drunk, that's hangover. Might run it back when this page over. You the best thing I done slaved over. Gon' arch your back and been way over. It's overdue for that understressing. Over him, now you underdressing. Call me up and I come finessing. Like, ooh, we shot it, what it do, what it don't. Baby, you a queen, you can move how you want. You was rocking with me when I couldn't stay afloat. They ain't never saying nothing wavy to a boat. Like, eyes up, look at me, now I'm the captain. Brought the camera, time for action. Split the legs just like a fraction. Tuck the napkin, time for snacking. You a mother meal. Tell me that it's mine, baby, tell me that it's real. Hit it to the max, well, tell me how it feel. It's gonna be a minute, cause I'm in it for the thrill. Make her feel like heaven, she gon' put me in the wheel. And willingly, I wanna do anything she wanna do. I ain't even wanna boo, but this is what the karma do. It's hard to be apart from you, cause ooh, I
love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm danked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm danked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it, you.
twisted around your finger like a piece of string. I'm winded, chasing after your ghost is real exhausting. I'm in love, but I don't think it's what I thought it was supposed to be. Love story, no guts and no glory. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Well, I don't usually get like this. 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 Reminded of how I met you, tried to catch you falling. Instead I fell off myself and I just can't stop falling. These wings are gonna flap for me if I keep waiting. Keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. I don't get like it's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? I just wanna kiss you. Well, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Get like this. No. Loves me not. This bouquet is all I got. I'm dreaming, or could it be a future for you and me? She loves me, I know it's true. Or maybe I'm the fool for you. I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Yeah, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Oh, get like this. No, get like this.
Feel like falling deeper. Cold nights 난 너무 싫어. 기다리기에는 너무 길어. 줬던 내 사랑이 식어. 기대만 하는 것도 난 힘들어. No, I can't, just can't. 가져 내 맘을, 놔줘 내 가슴을 다 바쳐 사랑하기엔 내 자신이 너무 걱정돼. 바보 같은 생각이야. 알아 멍청해. 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을 가지고 있어. 사랑이라는 거. Oh yeah. Baby, can't you come with me? Can't you hold my hand and leave? 근데 있잖아, 너라면 방향이 어딘지 서로 궁금해져 버려 애써 맘 졸여 하늘만 보면서 언제쯤 알게 될까 너도 나와 같은 생각을 하고 있을까 한참을 멍하니 보다 보니 살짝 어두워진 색깔 불그스름한 노을의 때깔 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을
You broke my heart a million times. Can't count the times I made you cry. Oh, we're such a mess now, and we're burning out. I get so sad at the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. You still look perfect as the day goes by. Even the worst ones hate, they make me smile. I stop the world if it would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out, yeah, yeah, to work things out, to work things out.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Mic check 1 2. Mic audio levels look good.
Can we be honest? You're my comfort soul. Whatever I say, don't let me go. I know you're angry, babe, and I am cold. I get so sad at the thought of losing you.
Good afternoon, y'all. It's Reed playing catch up today. This right here brings us right back on track for the Rich People Read series. And we're back on track. Oh, the camera's up. Happy to be here. Let's knock out chapter 13 and 14, ladies and gentlemen. Let's read chapter 13 and 14 of the Book of Obsidian, the ladies' edition. That's the theme song for Rich People Read, baby. Come on. Excited to be here. We're going to jump right into it. We read this morning. We already read chapters 11 and 12 this morning. Today we are reading chapters 13 and 14 to put us back on track. What up, Eric? Hoo-ah! Eric is in the house. Salute to you, Eric. Let's knock this out. For those that are wondering, what is this podcast? What the hell are you talking about reading? Welcome to Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. I don't know anybody who's rich that don't read. I have quite a few rich people in my life, and all of them read. They all read quite a bit. Hey, Alicia. You catching the afternoon show? Everybody I know that has a lot of money reads quite a bit. And I needed to build my repertoire in my community out here in Los Angeles so I can have these conversations. I found myself being in conversations, intellectual ones, where when they would mention a particular book, popular books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, I would have to say I didn't read it. And they'd look at me like, what you mean you didn't read that book? You didn't read Rich Dad Poor Dad? You didn't read the 4 Agreements, bro? It's like, how you didn't read the 4 Agreements? It's an easy read. You can read that sitting on a toilet in one sitting. So I had to step up my game. But I figured if I'm going to step up my game, why not allow us all to step up our game together? Remember, reading a book doesn't mean that you have to actually physically read the pages yourself. What it means is that you can listen to somebody else read it. That's what audiobooks are. So this is really just an audiobook book club podcast where I read the books to you and you listen. It's just that simple. But by listening to me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, typically at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, you can now say that you've read the book that we're talking about. We read one book a month to edify our lives. It's one of the steps that we do over at my channel to take us to the next level. I'm glad you guys are here. Please join the channel as a member of the SR Army. Hooah! And or you got to subscribe at least. At the bare minimum, you got to subscribe to the channel. Please like and share this video. And we are currently reading the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. We read this book in January. We read this book in January. That was the manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman, where Obsidian himself was speaking directly to the men, but the ladies wanted a copy. Well, not a copy. The ladies wanted a version for themselves. And so now Obsidian is reading to, or is speaking directly to the ladies. And so this month, this book is for the women. We are speaking to the women. And I'm excited to be here. We've made it up to chapter 13. If you want to listen to any of it prior to this, all you got to do is go back, hit the play button, put your headphones on, put your earbuds in, kick back and listen to me read you what Obsidian wrote in this book. Catch up. And then on Wednesday, you can be with us when we read chapter 15 and 16. But right now, we're getting ready to read chapters 13 and 14. Chapter 13 is, do shorter Black men make better boyfriends and husbands, and do Black women care? Do short guys make for better husbands and boyfriends, and do Black women care? I'm glad you guys are here. We're going to jump right into it. We only have 7 pages in chapter 13 and 7 pages in chapter 14. We have a total of 14 pages today, which means we'll probably be done in roughly an hour, let's say. Because, I like to throw in my sidebars. The difference with my podcast and this one here, excuse that, that's my gardener. He's outside doing the lawn. I don't know if this mic is picking up that ambient lawnmower, and my security cameras is catching them. But I like to do a lot of sidebars. So when Obsidian says something, or whenever I'm reading any book and they say something noteworthy, I tend to either give a story or talk about it a little bit. So that happens every once in a while. I apologize. We're a little animated over at this book club. We're a little animated over at Rich People Read. Shout out to Billy Armstrong. What up, man? Billy Armstrong is in the house. Yolanda's here. Hey, Yolanda. Yolanda been trying to catch the pod. My assistant said she sent a message. Yolanda, she forwarded me the message. I'm gonna read it when I get a chance, but I think Yolanda's not catching the lives. Yolanda, we've been off on our times for the last week. We're back on, after this one, we're back on track with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time book readings. So Wednesday, we're gonna be back on time. The reason I'm reading this late today is because today is catch up. So without further ado, let's switch to our read screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to read chapter 13 of the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. Chapter 13, do shorter Black men make better boyfriends and husbands, and do Black women care? Please share this video. You never have to ask permission to share. Share this video. Take the link, share it on YouTube right now so people can come over and pop in and catch these 2 chapters. It's going to be good. Ladies, I'm curious because I know you like tall men. That's one of the biggest things that women say. Oh, I need to have me a tall man. He needs to be 6 feet or taller. Even though in America, only 14% of the male population is 6 feet or taller. In the world, it's only 9.9%. So it's roughly 10% of the world. So women are basically wanting a man and almost making this a requirement, ladies and gentlemen. They're requiring men. Something that men can't change, by the way. Understand the difference between a man wanting a fit woman and a woman wanting a tall woman. You see, in Black America, only 20% of the black female population in America is fit. We'll call it. We'll call it not overweight. Right? You have overweight, then you have not overweight. Overweight includes the obese women as well. 80% of black women in America are overweight, which means 20% are within weight, right? We're not even going to go down to anorexic or thin or bulimic and things like that. We're just saying that you're not overweight. 10% of men is 6 feet tall. Now, here's the thing. Black men oftentimes do not require a woman to be fit. I do, but there's a lot of black men that don't. But even the ones that do give concessions and space for a woman to get fit, because if you are overweight, there's something you can do about it. You can lose the weight if you set your mind to it. However, there's a ton of black women that want a man, request a man, demand a man, expect a man, require a man to be 6 feet or taller, which eliminates 90% of the men available to her. And dig this. There's nothing that those 90% of men can do about it. There's no pill he can eat. There's no tummy tea. There's no tea he could drink. There's no gym for getting taller. There's no doc. You can't go get liposuction to get taller. There's nothing a man can do about his height. Yet women will die on that hill to make sure that they want a man that's 6 feet or taller. However, men are just asking women to just simply put down the macaroni and cheese, put down the ham hocks, stop going to drive-thrus, don't get a burger, put the fries away, right? Eat a salad and go to yoga. That's all men want you to do, and y'all won't even do that. Yet you are hell-bent on making sure that your man got to be tall. What up, Shall Prosper? Yeah, we back at it again. So now we're on chapter 13. Do shorter black men make better boyfriends and husbands, and do black women care? Last week, I dealt with the sordid tale of one Mr. Antoine Fuqua, whose latest sexploitations involved his well-publicized tender kisses with one Miss Nicole Murphy. I made my position on the matter as clear as a bell, but for those who may be a bit slow on the uptake, I'll reiterate. In my view, Fuqua is a sorry excuse for a black man. Why? Because in my view, no right-thinking black man would do what Fuqua did, which is to repeatedly cheat on and disrespect his wife and mother of his children. In this case, Miss Layla Rashawn Fuqua. Despite tremendous pushback from my largely black male listening and now reading audience, this has been my position and I stand by it. One of the apologies offered on behalf of Fuqua by the aforementioned black male apologist is the argument that Miss Layla Rashawn Fuqua didn't seem to have a problem with Antoine's sexploits, of which there are many. And so, what's the big deal, right? And indeed, as of press time last week, Miss Rashawn Fuqua hadn't come forward with a statement either way. Her silence did infer consent, indeed. On August 8th, 2019, in a piece written for the website Popular Superstar, Miss Monica Miller reports the following. Some people's relationships are very different from the usual ones we think of. For some, loyalty isn't a big deal, and it looks like this might be the case for Layla Rashawn and Antoine Fuqua, who are still together following the pictures where he was kissing Nicole Murphy. Layla didn't seem fazed, and she continues to say that they are happy together. A few weeks ago, some pictures of Antoine Fuqua and Nicole Murphy appeared where they seemed to enjoy each other's company in Italy. And the pictures didn't show two friends, but someone who was very intimate as they drank their coffee and made out at the hotel's pool. And this wasn't the first time Fuqua cheated, and it doesn't seem to be a problem, in fact. MTO News reports that in one instance, Layla flaunted her wedding ring at the press, and when a journalist asked how she was doing, she replied that she is happily married. Back in July, the 55-year-old actress, who actually goes by Layla Rashawn Fuqua, retreated from Instagram after the news. So yesterday, Layla showed up at the premiere of the David Makes Man show, in Los Angeles, and she didn't seem to have a worry in the world and posed and smiled at everyone. And even more important, she was proudly wearing her wedding ring, and she didn't even try to hide the fact that she was proudly wearing her wedding ring. Layla Rashawn and producer-director for Antoine Fuqua have been married for nearly 20 years. The Christian couple have 3 children together. Antoine is one of the most famous black directors in Hollywood, and he has won an Academy Award for the movie Training Day. And when he was supposed to receive an award in Italy, he apparently also spent time with the model. Kudos to her for trying to see the half full side of the glass. Wow, just wow. So let me get this straight. Not only does Miss Rashawn Fuqua seem to be okay with her hubby Antoine not just stepping out on her, but siring kids in the process. But other black women, like the author of the above piece, Miss Monica Miller, also seem to be okay with it too, in the name of seeing the half side full of the glass, no less. Well, ain't that a kick in the head? And which raises some interesting questions with equally explosive answers. Black Infidelity Revisited. Now, just a sidebar, you guys. My thing is, Obsidian is upset with Antoine Fuqua calling him a sorry excuse for a black man. But I'm going to have to side with the black male apologist on this case. Because my thing is, it's not cheating if the other person knows. You get what I'm saying? Like cheating, and because if that's the case, then we got some biblical people who cheated, who didn't cheat, even when the wife offered up a particular person. Is it cheating? Cheating. If both people is out there making it happen. Here's an example. If a man and a woman get together and the woman says, girl, baby, I think that young one over there would love to be with you. I'm going to go get her. And your wife goes and pulls a chick for y'all to take home and have sex with. Are you cheating now because you're having sex with somebody else that your wife wouldn't got? Now, say, for instance, your wife don't touch her. Say, for instance, your wife goes out, pulls a young hottie in Vegas. Y'all take her back to the hotel room and your wife sits down and watches in the chair while you bang that young hottie away. Are you cheating on your wife? I mean, that's the question. Are you cheating on your wife? What if Layla Rashawn connected Nicole Murphy with Antoine Fuqua to rendezvous in Italy? Is it cheating then? And since we don't know, we can't really say by the definition what I consider cheating. Cheating is about the deception. Cheating is about the betrayal. It's about the gaslighting. It's about the sneakiness of it. It's the lie, which is the basis of the term cheating for me, right? So if the wife is in on the gig, then you can't really call it cheating, which is why Kevin Samuels says, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you want to be a high value man, right, you don't cheat. High value men don't cheat per se. They exercise their options. It's not about sneaking. We don't have to sneak. It's like, baby, this is what it is. Be forthright, be forthcoming, be open and honest with your woman. Period, fellas. Let her know where you are and what you're doing. And give her the opportunity to make a decision if she wants to stay or go. But when the moment you start lying, the moment you start conniving and sneaking and creeping, so I creep, yeah, remember the TLC song, the same ladies that sang the song Scrubs, turn around and sang a song called Creeping, how she's keeping it on the down low, that's cheating. So just want to put my point out there. Let's continue. Black Infidelity Revisited. As noted in the previous column on this August website, a powerful study was published by the Institute of Family Studies entitled Who Cheats More? The Demographic of Infidelity in America, in which repays close study. Of particular import for the purposes of today's discussion is what the IFS had to say bearing on the unique cheating culture extant in Black American life. In addition to gender and age, the infidelity rate also differs by a number of other demographic and social factors. For example, cheating is somewhat more common among Black adults, Some 22% of every married blacks said that they cheated on their spouse, compared with 16% of whites and 13% of Hispanics. And among black men, the rate is the highest. 28% reported that they had sex with someone other than their spouse, compared with only 20% of white men and 16% of Hispanic men. That's right, folks. Black men cheated most of all, at nearly 30%, clearly outpacing both white and Hispanic men. What up, Hi Kai?
Hooah!
Shout out to you, bro. Hey, Van Helsing 58. What's happening, Van Helsing 58? Glad you're here. That's right, folks. Black men cheat most of all at nearly 30%, clearly outpacing both white and Hispanic men. So clearly, black men taken as a group have a cheating heart. But as always, the devil is in the details. For one thing, while it's true that black men cheat more than any other race of men, it is also true that black men do not cheat. But the answer is why? And why are so many black women seemingly so cool with those black men who do cheat? Like Layla Rashawn and Monica Miller. To answer these questions, we need to revisit an old saw in red pill circles, the dreaded 80-20 rule. Simply put, the 80-20 rule is defined in this way. All right, this is what the 80-20 rule is, y'all. So for those that don't know, let me explain it. Or let Obsidian explain it, and I'm going to read to you the explanation of what the 80-20 rule is. It is an environment where women, in this case black women, are freed up to select those black men whom they find the most sexually desirable, without any pushback in the form of social or cultural or legal penalties, while at the same time being able to replace all of the dad qualities, either directly in the form of other black men, the proverbial beta male in the popular parlance of the age, or indirectly in the form of big daddy government. 80% of black women will then naturally gravitate towards the aforementioned 20% of highly sexually desirable black men. Though not rigorously scientifically tested, especially in a black American context, the 80-20 rule is something well known and recognized among denizens of black manosphere online and spoken freely in the barbershops of black American communities from coast to coast until now. 80% of women want 20% of the men. 80% of black women are holding out, desiring, wanting, lusting after, cheating with 20% of the sexually desirable black men. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best black men, but that's who they want. They want the 20% black men. I propose that although we may not be able to directly put the 80-20 rule to the acid test, we do have enough anecdotal observations to support the phenomenon, and the implications may be huge. For example, take the IFS study above, which clearly indicates that nearly 30% of black men have admitted to cheating, much like Antoine Fuqua. You got to admit it, 28% comes pretty darn close to the 20 in the 80-20 rule now, doesn't it? So since it's clear that not all black men cheat and that a substrate of black men do, what could be, if not the, defining feature that separate the two men? I argue that one of those factors, perhaps the number one factor, is height. Obsidian argues that one of the factors, if not the number one factor that separates the 80-20 rule, is height. Read on. Do shorter black men make better hubbies, and do black women care? About 5 years ago, a raft of articles citing some interesting research was published. One in particular was a 2014 piece published on the New Republic website entitled "Short Men Make Better Boyfriends and Husbands." Among other things, the findings were that the men of shorter stature, and short these days is defined by men being 5'7" and under, not 6 feet and under, 5'7" and under, made for better husbands due to their willingness to help with housework more, their attentiveness to their spouses, their tendency to divorce less, their ability to earn more than their spouses, and most of all, their tendency to be more faithful and to cheat less than their taller brethren. With the black marital rate at its lowest point since the U.S. Census records were kept on the matter since 1896, and with all that comes with it, such as, for example, wealth creation, we have to ask the crucial question. Are black women, you ladies, are you black women? I'm talking to you, selecting a cohort of black men who would be more likely to cheat on you? And are those black men who do cheat on their black spouses more likely to be taller men, like Shannon, who's 6'2"? As noted above, taller black men have more opportunities to cheat as well as more chances to date and mate than their shorter bros. Two very easy cases in point come to mind. Both presidents, Bill Clinton, who's 6'2", and Donald Trump, who's 6'3", have been well known for their extramarital sexploits, all the way up to and including the time in the White House. So there you go. Let's return now to the current Antoine Fuqua-Layla Rashawn case. We learned from a simple Google search that Fuqua stands 6 foot. What up, Colin? Hooah! Colin Cole is in the house. Okay. Google research, we learned from a simple Google search that Antoine Fuqua stands 6 foot tall. Boom. His stature tracks very well with the scientific evidence on this matter that taller black men are more likely to cheat on their spouses and significant others than shorter statured black men, all other things being equal. Putting together the results of the findings in both cases of studies, the IFS cheating study as it relates to Black America and the findings from the shorter men making better husbands study, the conclusion is nothing short, pardon the pun, of explosive. Black women are selecting for the very types of and kinds of black men who are much more likely to bring them the headaches and heartaches they complain about, at least. And we see in the case cited above with Layla Rashawn, are willing to make the trade-offs of being with a highly sexually desirable black man. The real life hitch. Several years ago, Paul Carrick Brunson, then known to the world as the real life hitch, after the Will Smith film of the same name, made his daily bread as a matchmaker for black folk. Though he had some successes in the enterprise, one major stumbling block he encountered was that black women's fierce resistance to the idea of giving black guys who fell outside their quote unquote standards, which is really preferences, because black women tend to get preferences and standards mixed up, but that's for a different show that I'll teach you guys about. For the sake of this book, we'll say it is written. Fell out of their standards a chance. Much of this centered largely and solely on height alone. One particular instance comes to mind. He attempted to match up a black woman and a black man. The former is a fairly conventional modern black woman, right? She's overeducated, very likely in lots of debt, right? You know what comes with the education. Quite a bit overweight. She's fat and over-processed in terms of Wookiee weave, makeup, and so forth. She got all the glam shit going on, right? Fat, educated black chick with all the extra shit. Moreover, she was quite a bit extra in terms of her demeanor and attitude. We know what that means. The latter, the brother, was a well-educated and well-mannered brother of shorter stature, about my height or so, give or take. Despite PCB's best efforts, the sister in question just refused to budge on her quote-unquote standards. In this case, being height. And the date that PCB had set up for these two went over like a lead balloon. It was a failure. We have all heard numerous instances like the one above where the only thing wrong, quote unquote, the only thing wrong with the brother is that he's not over 6 foot tall. And black women can and will cut such guys out from consideration, only to bemoan all the ill treatment from the select bros later on down the line, and now black men ain't shit. Right? They only date 6 foot tall men, ignore the men that's good for them because he's not tall enough, but then say all black men ain't shit. No, ladies, the small pool of black men that you like to mess with ain't shit. And now we have the scientific peer-reviewed proof. So when we hear black women bemoaning the perfidy of black men, the evidence strongly suggests that we have to interpret what so many black women are really saying. They aren't talking about all black men, no matter how widespread their statements may seem, but rather they are talking about a small minority of black men who they want and desire, who bring with them all manner of very real downsides. And if Layla is anything to go by, these black women seem to be perfectly okay with it. The point of it all? So what does all this have to do with a dating column aimed at today's black men, especially if the majority of them are single, childless, and are confirmed bachelors? Well, only this: that the scientific evidence is beginning to bear out that yes, the 80-20 rule is very real, at least insofar as Black America is concerned. And that this fact can and will have serious implications for today's dating and mating scene in Black American life moving forward. Because the Obsidians are well-read and educated lot, we study these things and understand what it will mean in the overall scheme of things, both for the individual and for the wider Black society. And we understand that many of the very problems Black women can be heard bemoaning when it comes to the small pool of what I have come to refer to as Khan Noonan Singh niggas are often their own choosing, literally. As noted above, the implications for all this, if true, what we got over here? Real quick, let me switch back over to this screen because I think test 1 2. I hope this. Let me know if the audio is out of sync. It looks like it's out of sync. Yolanda has blessed the channel with a super sticker. Thank you, Yolanda, for that blessing. Thank you, Yolanda, for that blessing. I appreciate you. Let's make Yolanda the stream sponsor, y'all. You know how we do. You know that's what we do. Yolanda came in with the $4.99. Hold on. $4.99. We're going to say, Mabby, hush. That's my son. He's over there watching cartoons. Got it. And then we're going to put Yolanda up on the screen. Yolanda is now the stream sponsor. It blew the mic up. Oh, okay. Listen, I don't know if I'm in sync or out of sync. I hope my audio is in sync. Let me know, you guys, if my audio is out of sync. Everybody throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
So just throw your ones up for Yolanda for blessing the channel with the $4.99 super chat. Those are blessings, not donations. Thank you, Yolanda. We appreciate you for supporting the channel and keeping us going. All right. All right, let's go. And if I'm out of sync, you guys, hold on a second. If I'm out of sync, let me see.
You broke my heart.
Test 1 2. Okay, hopefully that's a little better for you, or hopefully you guys can't even tell that the sync is out because it was out for me. I'm sitting here watching myself talk. All right. Yes, everybody throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
All right, let's continue, you guys. As noted above, the implications for all this, if true, can prove explosive. And that brings us to the next point of today's column. Clearly, Black women are selecting or failing that attempting to select for a smaller cohort of Black men. And one way one can immediately identify them is their height. Black women have expressed a clear preference, not just for height, but the more the merrier. And we know that such black men potentially come with many downsides as they do upsides. Even more to the point is that there are black women who are quite content to live with said downsides of being with such a black man. But wait, there's more. Women will deal with the bullshit that tall black men come with. Black women will deal with the bullshit that tall black men come with simply because he's tall. But there's more. While there are many black women who are like Layla Rashawn who simply grin and bear it, there are those black women who have finally had enough and are ready to come to their senses. Okay? And that's where many of us will come in, at least in theory. I say that because no, I know I'm not in sync. Hold on one second, you guys. Hold on, you guys. I gotta see what's going on here. Hi, Kai. Is the audio in sync or am I out of sync? Am I in sync or out of sync? I do not want. The last time I saw this, the video was recorded out of sync. Hold on. I'm closing Windows down now, you guys. Shutting down Windows to get this going right. Yeah, it's out of sync for you, Alicia. Okay. Let me see if I can fix this. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Test 1, 2. Okay. That should be a little better. All right. Let's go. Hold on. That should be a little better. Damn. Test 1, 2. All right. We're going to have to do this is going to have to be the best it's going to get. All right. Here we go. Hold on one second. All right. So let's do it our best that we can. Though I am sorry about the delay, everybody, but I have to give you guys a quality show. And for whatever reason, I was getting some delay here. What I'm going to do is make sure I restart this computer every time before a show. All right, let's go. Though I am a newly minted dating coach for today's black man, I must caution you all about the very real prospect of running afoul of such sisters. Much careful investigation is needed before proceeding any further. We are thinking black men, after all, and a defining feature of us is our penchant for thinking deeply and carefully about these matters before diving right in. In a more sane world, black women, more than anyone else, would be making a beeline for the shorter statured brothers as mates for all the reasons that the research bears out above. And yet, we don't see that happening by and large now, do we? After all, you can lead a heifer to water, but you can't make her drink, right? In a future column, I will lay out in a more specific detail the real world costs black women bear out for their thing for select black men. Do you think Layla Rashawn has gotten off scot-free? All right. Moving on to the stick. Now we're on to chapter 14, ladies and gentlemen. God dog it. I may have to restart the whole I may have to restart the entire stream, you guys. This is driving me nuts. This is driving me nuts. All right. Test 1, 2. I know, right? I've restarted everything, and the only thing I can't restart is the stream. I'd have to restart the stream. I'd lose the sync, and I don't want to do that per se. Let me see if we was close this window, close this window. Let's go over and close this window. If we close this window and this window and this window, even if I'm closing most of all my windows, I am still running a test 1. Yeah, it's not working. Oh, god damn. All right, you know what? I don't want to kill the stream. So we're going to have to just deal with it. We're going to have to just deal with it, Hi Kai. So y'all don't look at me. Y'all just listen to me. Don't look at me, everybody. Just listen. Bring up all my windows. You guys are going to have to just listen to me instead of look, because I cannot kill the video, and I will have to figure out what is going on later. If I got to go buy a whole nother computer, I will. I have no problem with that either. I have no problem with that either. Okay, everything is back up. All right, guys, let's go. Chapter 14, the 90-day rule. Oh God, revisited. Ladies, do you guys have a 90-day rule? Do you have a 90-day rule? Let's switch over here. Chapter 14, the 90-day rule. Do you make men wait 90 days? Did you get, because you know the 90-day rule, I think, was born out of Steve Harvey. I think Steve Harvey created the 90-day rule for women to go by when it comes to sex. It's a half second delay. I know, man. We're going to deal with it. I'm going to figure it out later. I'm going to figure out what is taking all of my processing power. Let me come over here. It says there is nothing using any significant energy besides, well, Stream Deck is using some energy, it says. Hold on, let me quit Stream Deck. Let's see. Maybe it was Stream Deck, which is my, wow, it looks like everything. No, it couldn't have been Stream Deck. You got to be, no, it could not have been Stream Deck. Hooah! It could not have been Stream Deck, was it, you guys? I don't think so. No, it's back slow again. I was about to say that shouldn't take up any memory. Motion detected at the driveway camera. What all is taking significant power? Let's unplug it. Plug it back. All right, hold on. Nope. Motion detected at the driveway camera. Hold on, you guys. Motion detected at the back house camera. Test 1, 2. All right. Ugh. Motion detected at the driveway camera. All right, let's see. I had to kill a bunch of stuff, so we're going to see how this all works out. So we're going to move here. Overlays. We are going to get I don't need sound effects. Thanks for your patience, everybody, as we get this shit together. As we make this work. Move this here, move this here. Move the interview window here. Sound levels here. Comments here. Video screen here. Scenes. Overlays here. All right. I think it's still out of sync, but we have to continue. The show must go on, right? Oh, my keyboard is now acting up. Oh, you got to be joking me. Really? Today? We don't have these problems today? That's crazy because you guys are still hanging in there with me. That's dope. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Chapter 14. I'm going to read through this straight because I'm having some issues that I can't seem to mitigate. All right. If there has been one major point of contention between black men and black women in the past 20 years regarding dating and mating, it is what is known as the 90-day rule. The 90-day rule. Comedian, actor, and all-around pitchman turned love guru Steve Harvey's creation. Debuting in his colossal bestseller, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, a movie of which we watched last night on this channel, by the way. Hey, Marvy. More than a dozen years ago, it has been the topic of heated debate and controversy ever since in black love discussion circles online and off. Like many black Americans, in this case, black American men, I too was well aware of Harvey's take on the dating and mating for the 21st century black American existence. And I too was keen to read up on exactly what Harvey had to say to the lovely ladies about us menfolk. What I found was nearly as dire as I had been led to believe, and you ladies will have to forgive us brothers for our tendency toward the theatrical about these sort of things. Harvey actually made some good points. Number one, Steve Harvey said men date and court to have sex, first and foremost. Number two, one of, if not the most important things a woman can give a man is her sex. Number three, men pursue the women they value. I can't really argue with any of that. On these points, I agree with Mr. Steve Harvey. However, there are quite a few things that I vociferously disagree with. And worse, these disagreements have proven themselves unable to move the needle in any serious way for black women since the publication of Mr. Harvey's wildly popular book more than a decade ago. It's time for a remixing of this original work, a much needed overhaul, a long overhaul overdue. And I'm just the man to do it, so let's go. 3 things Steve Harvey overlooked, wasn't aware of, or just got wrong. In the opening words of the chapter in question, Harvey shares an anecdote from his past as a young man first starting out on his first quote-unquote real job. It was the Ford Motor Company, paying union wages with good bennies. The trick, of course, was that he had to pass that all-important 90-day probationary period and wasn't considered part of the team until he was in, right? I know of what Steve Harvey speaks of very, very well. For I too started off in life as an adult man in much the very same fashion as a blue-collar skilled trades unionist. And I also share Harvey's penchant for framing dating and mating along more serious, even business-like lines. But there's a few flies in the proverbial ointment for me that I simply couldn't get past noticing. Let's count the ways, shall we? Number one, Steve Harvey's core audience is too cold for the 90-day rule. The first is the fact that his audience is older. The audience for the 90-day rule, you're too old. It doesn't take a professional demographer or a marketing expert to clearly see that a large chunk of the audience for his book is comprised of middle-aged Black women, the majority of whom have kids. And see, that latter point is huge within the scope of what we're talking about in this chapter, because sex. You see, kids are confirmation that you done went ahead and gave up the box, ladies. And it's kind of tough trying to sell the various do-over schemes that Black women and their advocates, surrogates, and spokesmen like Harvey in this case, to the brothers out here on the dating and mating scene today. Even worse, chances are very high that many of you lovely ladies have dropped trowel and done the deed for a whole heck of a lot less than what you're asking for from Mr. Truly Nice Guy today. And well, that dog just won't hunt anymore, if it ever did. Trying to present yourself as pure as the virgin snow when you were well north of 35 years old and done had whole human beings pass through your body, often with the aid of a man or men who ain't even your husband, is a non-starting deal breaker for the vast majority of Black men out here, full stop. And that is the first major problem with Harvey's scheme. It's aimed at the wrong demographic of Black women. His 90-day rule is much better suited for your daughters, and in some cases, granddaughters, right? Because that's how old you are, than it is for many of you ladies. A young maiden in her late teens to mid-20s could plausibly make his rule work because she has relatively lower miles on the kitty, no kids, and can fetch a higher price out of the mating market, both in terms of overall quality of suitors as well as the kind of treatment that she would ideally prefer. But trying to use that same strategy when you're old enough to be her mama, nanny, nana, or auntie just ain't gonna get it, ladies. It's just not. This is how and why I've argued on the air and now in print that Mr. Steve Harvey should have called his 90-minute rule, not day, but 90-minute rule. Because the demographic of ladies he was aiming at really don't have months of extended courting in front of them. They just don't. It might be harsh to say, but it's still true. The game changes in a big way for ladies once she crosses the Rubicon of age 35. That doesn't mean that she can't get a great guy for a great relationship, but it does mean that she has to approach it in a much different way than her much younger self did. For starters, that means that she has to be much more forward and move things along at a much quicker clip. Playing coy and demure works when you're a young chippy, but it's annoying as hell when you're solidly in MILF territory, which explains why it's even in the porn world where there's no shy MILFs. Number two. Yolanda's like, I agree with that. Number two, a fair exchange is no robbery. Keyword here being fair. The second thing Mr. Steve Harvey overlooked, wasn't aware of, or just got wrong, hails back to his Ford Motor Company analogy. Like I said, I like a lot, but the execution left a lot to be desired, and here's why. Because far too many of you, once you take what you're sitting on off the proverbial table, which we'll discuss more in detail in the next chapter, by the way, what else is there? If you take sex off the table, what else is there? It isn't like many of you are out here making killer boss lady moves, right? I know you say you are, but you're not. Or out here making boss lady money. I know you claim to be, but you're broke. Anyway, like most black women, you're average. You're just average at best, living a 21st century existence for better or worse. You see, Mr. Steve Harvey argues that you can make quote unquote payments to men you're seeing until 90 days are up, and gives an exhaustive listing of what those quote unquote payments can look like. The problem with that is these are things that women like, want, and desire, not men. Harvey mistakenly thinks that because men in the past did the kabuki dance to get the draws, they'll do it now. And I'm here to tell you that that just ain't so. In hooking up culture, where the biggest ones doing the hooking up are the older folks well past their 40s, the idea that you can make payments by kissing him on the cheek and dressing up for us, when we really want to see you naked as soon as possible, or sending us some saucy emails or whatever, oh, how quaint, until the big day, is, like I said, a non-starting deal breaker. Ain't no brother 40 years older got any time for that. Let me tell you. Which brings me to the third thing that Mr. Harvey didn't take into account the first time around. Number 3, time is not on your side, ladies. Time is simply not on your side. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on. This computer is driving me nuts. It's driving me absolutely nuts. All right, here we go. Ladies, number 3, time is not on your side. And that's the fact that we're approaching this topic as if we're all spring chickens. Yolanda's like, no cap. All right. When nothing could be further from the truth. We are now solidly middle-aged, part of a cohort of the American family that isn't exactly known for having the best life and health outcomes either. The bottom line is that none of us honestly knows with any certainty that we'll survive past 90 minutes from now, let alone 90 days. Especially in a global pandemic, the likes of which we haven't seen in a century, with the new variants of plague coming down the pike like it's the latest mixtape. Older guys definitely want to get laid sooner than later. If for no other reason than that. Not terribly romantic, I know, but bang, there it is. I mean, seriously, far too many of you lovely ladies honestly think that we have all the time, in the known universe to make something happen. I mean, exactly what are you waiting for? The flood? Steve Harvey makes a point about vetting a man for a longer term mate along the lines of knowing how he handles being under pressure, being told no, and so on. And look, I get it. No one should have put up with a stomped down jerk at any age. But the simple truth of the matter is that dating and mating are vastly different animals when you're middle-aged as opposed to when you were a young adult. It just is. And one of those major differences is time. As a general rule, you generally have less of it to waste. Besides, with many jerks, fuckboys, and all-purpose assholes so many of you have laid up with over the years, you should be old hands at spotting them a mile away within minutes, if not seconds. What do you need 90 days to suss out? What have you had suss out what you've had a lifetime of perfecting? A major problem far too many black women have is that they honestly believe that they have all the time in the world, with which to make dating and mating decisions, along with a steady stream of high quality, dare I say, high value black men just waiting in the wings to beat your path to your door. But the real world realities on the ground say otherwise. Put that together with all the comorbidity stuff I mentioned above, and hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. You got to date with some goddamn urgency out here. That means that merely dating because you're bored, haven't been pampered in a while, or your stomach is hitting your backbone, and so on, is out. Besides, far too many of us are onto far too many of you for that to really work anymore anyway. Please don't get me wrong. I am not saying that you gotta bang every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you kick it with, but I am saying that thinking you're a born-again virgin or whatever you want to call it, its equivalent, simply ain't the business. You either want to put out or you don't. And ain't nobody waiting around 90 days for it to happen either. So let me tell you what older men want. Uh-oh. Is he getting ready to tell you what Shannon wants? You know, I'm 50, you guys. I turned 50 on the 9th. I turned 50 last week, or the week before last. Thursday before last, I turned 50. So I am a 50. You guys are listening to a 50-year-old man. Shout out to me, right, for making it half a century. What older men want? Alicia asked the question, what do you guys think is a good time? 30 days? What do you guys think is a good time? 30 days? I'll let you guys say it in the chat because I can answer. No, I'm not going to answer. I'm going to let you guys answer that in the chat. What older men want? Since this is part of a much larger discussion, read the entirety of this book that focuses on black women north of age 35. It only makes sense that, for the most part, that black men involved will also be north of age 35. And if it's one thing that's true about older black men, and I'm here talking about the 40s and 50s and beyond, it's that they want to get laid very easily. Actually, wait, you know what? There's two things that hold true about older black men. They want to get laid very easy peasy, and they really don't want to hear about all your goddamn problems. They don't want to hear about all your problems. Since we spent a good bit of time in this chapter on the former, let me quickly tie that off so I can spend some time on the latter point. When black men are younger, say in their teens through their 20s, we're inclined to put up with a lot of crap, all in the service of getting what's under them panties. Young chippies with an attitude are all par for the course, and men across the age spectrum know and understand that is part of the price of admission to get on that ride. Fair enough. But when it comes to older men, when it comes to men of a certain age, more mature ladies, being a snarky, punky Brewster type, isn't amusing and mildly irritating in a bratty kid sister sort of way. It's downright annoying in an old battle axe sort of way. Simply put, men, both older and younger, expect a mature lady to be a lot more straightforward with the sex and to play a lot fewer games about it too. I know that might sound harsh, cruel, or even mean, but it's the truth. And if you're at the point where you're reading a book by yours truly, you not only have truly run out of better options to get her done, but you've also tacitly admitted that even at this late date and your advanced age, you don't know men at all. Now, do you? So listen up. Yolanda, they giving you answers. Alicia, they giving you answers. You see what Shout Prosper says? Shout Prosper's 37. Shout Prosper's 37. Fellas, answer Alicia Howard's question. What do you think is a good time? 30 days? Put it in the comments if you're watching the replay. Put it in the chat if you're watching live. What is 30 days to... Steve Harvey says 90 days in the book, right? Obsidian says that's absurd. Alicia wants to know, how about 30 days? Shout Prosper says 14 days max. Shout Prosper says 14 days max. Let's continue. Older black men are at a place in their lives where if they've played their cards right, life is good. They've managed to stay alive, for starters, so no small feat in and of itself. But they've also managed to keep up their looks halfway decent too. I'm 50. Did I keep up my looks halfway decent? And on top of that, they have a sense of style and bearing that looks good on their mature frame. Finally, they've reached a very comfortable level of success to where they can afford to show a lady a very nice time out on the town and more. All of which is to say that older black men who have made something of themselves expect to have a mature lady on her arm, expect to have a mature lady on his arm, I think, that knows her place and plays her position. And yes, a big part of that is sexually. She's not coy about it, actually loves to roll in the hay and doesn't see much point in waiting 90 days for a gentleman who has already tickled her fancy. Seriously, if an older gent has to go through all the rigmarole of his youth just to bust a nut, he might as well gun for the same young chippies too. It is what it is. If he's got to work hard to get some pussy with an older woman, he might as well just do it with a younger woman since he's got to do it anyway. That's what he's basically saying. He's like, if I got to go through all the bullshit, if I got to wait 90 days, I'm not going to wait 90 days on no old pussy. If I got to wait the 90 days, I might as well wait it on something younger. Okay, so now let me get to the second point. All your many problems. In the chapter in which, hold on. In the chapter in question in this book, Harvey argues that you should test your guy out to see how he responds to the various problems in your life. You know, I've never read this book. I never read the Think Like a Lady, Act Like a Man. I never read the book from Steve Harvey. And I don't think I ever would want to read it based on what I'm hearing from Obsidian in here. Steve Harvey argues that you should test your man to see how he responds to various problems in your life. I think we all know by now that such a stratagem never works. But in case you were trapped somewhere else in the multiverse for the past dozen years or something, let me help you. It does not work. As I've noted in the Book of Obsidian, older, more mature black men have typically dealt with problems of varying stripe for many years and now are in a place of their life where they want to have fun. You guys know, sidebar, Shannon's 5 F's that all women should be. All men want it, high value men require it. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. And that little 3-letter word seems to be a big challenge for black women, especially more mature ones. Trust me when I tell you, if you want to run a mature brother off with a quickness, just hit him with a barrage of your problems. And voila, he's gone. Tell him how you can't do this and how you have an issue over here with your job and how you can't do that and how you got to go and you sick all the time and you got these problems. Just tell a man about all your goddamn problems if you want to find a way to have him not fuck with you. Not sexually, not in an intimate situation. Come with all your issues and let him know all your problems and watch how fast he's gone. Steve Harvey's telling you to test him out. Again, you're free to think whatever you like about all of this, but the point still stands. Older, more mature black men want to have fun. And if you're going to be successful dating as a more mature lady, you have to keep that in mind and act accordingly. That means not trying to use him as your de facto therapist because you either have religious hangups about going to a real one and or too damn cheap to hire a real one. It means lightening up and laughing at yourself in life and enjoying a bit of what this world has to offer. It means stop being sexually stick stuck in the mud. I'm thinking that's what he meant. Stuck in the mud. It means stop being sexually stuck in the mud. What are you so uptight for? And it means being someone, a brother who's got his act together, wants to be around in the first place. I swear before God Almighty, some of you lovely, mature ladies are so serious and downtrodden that you suck all the air out of the room and the remaining vitality out of a man, and then have the nerve to demand, where have all the good brothers gone? Are you kidding me? So to recap, number one, the 90-day rule is for your daughters, and when applicable, granddaughters. It's not for you, old ladies. Number two, black men date to get sex. That's the only reason a black man is taking you on a date. He wants to fuck. You may think that he doesn't want to have sex right then and there, but that black man wants to have sex with you. That is the reason why he is taking you out on a date. You're not going on a date with him because he wants to get to know you better, or because he wants to talk to you a little bit and all that kind of stuff. You're a black man date to get sex. That is the reason why. He may not even expect to try to get it the first time. It may be strategic to him. He might be playing chess with you, whether you know it or not. But ultimately, he wants to have sex. The 90-day rule is for your daughters. It's not for you older ladies. Number three, sex is good, especially when you're older and don't have to worry about getting pregnant. What others will say or think about you, blah, 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 right? Number four, only go out with black men you're sexually attracted to. Now, did Obsidian get that one from me? I'm wondering, because I've been saying that for forever. Like, so sidebar, before I continue with number four. Black women have always asked, well, if we're supposed to have sex, then how are we supposed to keep our body count down? This is a question that was asked on the lead attorney's show, and I went on and I explained it to everybody. So women have this question: how am I supposed to keep my body count down? But then y'all don't want women to wait. Y'all don't want men to wait to have sex. I'm supposed to screw every goddamn body I go out with? The answer is simple. Don't go out with a guy that you don't want to have sex with. Period. That really, now I get that. That eliminates a whole lot of dinner dates, right? For all of you foodie calls, as we call them, instead of booty calls, a lot of women go out with guys just to get food because they too broke to get it themselves. So the women that want to go out on foodie calls, the women that are hanging out because they're just bored, but a guy that she knows don't want her, she's hanging out with him, those days are over with. Because the guy wants you, so you really wasting his time. So in order to eliminate having a high body count, stop dealing with men that you don't want to have sex with. That's the answer. Oh, but then I don't get to go on dates. You shouldn't be going anyway because you don't even like them like that. Well, it takes me a little bit of time. Bullshit. Women know quick if they want to have sex with somebody or not. I know you don't want to admit that, but that is the case. So number four, only go out with black men you're sexually attracted to and are willing to drop trousers for either that night or within the coming week. Number five, don't bring all your goddamn problems to your guy. That's what they made pro therapists and the like for. Men don't want to hear about your problems. I know Steve Harvey told you to test him with your problems. That was bad advice. Don't hit him with all your problems. If you want to find a guy out and not dealing with you, don't want to answer your phone calls, doesn't want to hang out with you, ain't really checking for you like that, you text him, but he ain't texting you back, tell him all your problems. That's what's going to happen. Tell him how you having issues with this, that, and the other. That's what's going to happen. If he likes you enough because you're a fun person, he'll come in and he'll be a problem solver, because that's one of the 4 P's that men are supposed to do. We protect, we provide, we problem solve, and we procreate. Problem solving is one of our tasks, but don't hit me with all your goddamn problems. I don't even know you yet. Let me learn you. Let me realize that you're somebody I like, and then I'll come in and start fixing shit. But oftentimes women will, on the first damn date, you're talking about the issue that you had with your coworker. Don't nobody want to hear all that. Number 6, put out with a quickness. Have sex fast. Laugh at yourself around him and be down for whatever type fun there is. And on a final note, this last paragraph and we're done, guys. On a final note, something else you probably don't know about us menfolk, right? This is what Obsidian's telling you. Something that you ladies don't know about us. We love loose women. Contrary to popular opinion and street knowledge wisdom from the hoods of Black America, the truth of the matter is that the quicker a lady puts out, the more likely she is to land the man that she wants. Counterintuitive, I know. But so is a lot of what's going on that you read in this book. And if you haven't figured that out already, the ladies with a past are a godsend to us menfolk. Trust me, we think you're doing the Lord's work out here. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the chapter. We are done with chapter 14. I know my audio is out of sync. Hey, Otha, what's happening? How are you? I know my audio is out of sync. I don't think nothing is working on my system. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think nothing is working over here. Hold on. I will not do another live stream without restarting my computer. Yeah, my buttons ain't working. Ain't shit working right now. But thank you guys. I know I'm out of sync. This is going to have to deal with it. I'll figure it out later. I appreciate you guys. What's up, Otha? What up, Hi Kai? I'm not going to even stay here long, you guys. I got to go because I don't like looking at myself 3 seconds later. It's weird. I got this whole new setup with the whole new screen and everything is supposed to be working. And it worked fine this morning, right? When we went live, but it's not working right now. So I got to figure this out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the show. Hopefully you're not looking at me. You're just listening to me. And please share the stream, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, join the army. I appreciate you guys. And we are out. I'm going to run straight to the outro. I'll talk to you guys later. You are dismissed.